Okay, so if we look at this here, so if we look at the under assignment instruction files, yeah, and under Navisworks Freedom CITB course, Construction Industry Training Board, we're opening up this file here, and this is the file I've got open here. All right, so a few pages down, basically, you can see the color coding here, and you can see that initially it talks about BIM and just talks about CAT to BIM and all that sort of stuff. And then it goes into the interpretation and collaboration software, or in other words, Navisworks. So this is what we're going to run through some of these exercises loosely, follow this sort of format, and run through the file that you need to open up that this asks for is in here. It's this file here, so that's there for you. All right. Okay, so then it moves to so this orange stuff basically is what we're going to be doing mainly. And then it talks about digital layout technology that I sort of mentioned before, but there's not much in that at all apart from a bit of a description. So that we're not going to do much about apart from just talk about it. The file that you'll be looking at is basically the Flinders Centre for Innovation in Cancer. So that's the file that we'll be using for this initial part of Navisworks, which is basically the freedom part of it. Then we're going to get into the managed part of it later on. All right, so let's have a look. This is the freedom. I just cancel them into opening a file. So this is the freedom, and when you first open it up, do you have freedom on your computers? Out of interest? Yeah. Is it 14, version 14? 2014? Yeah, okay, good. All right, so under View tab, there's a workspace that you can load in at the end of it. All right. And I suggest you load in the standard Navisworks one. All right. And just goes off and does something and comes up with this sort of thing. All right. So basically, what we've got is we've got nothing at the moment, but we've got to open up the file. But what we've got here is these little things that fold out. The selection tree is one. Let me just open up a file, and you don't have to do this now, but I'll open it up here so you can see what I mean. If I go to open here, I will open this file here, which is the one that we want. It's already downloaded here, so we'll do that. It's 25 megabytes. It's a fairly big file, so if you're downloading it, it might take a while. All right, otherwise it's on the L drive, as I said. Oh, this is the Flinders Cancer Centre we talked about. All right, so, if I go over here, what do we have? I've opened up an NWD file because that's all I can open up in Freedom. Okay, it's one of those bound files, and in there, if I expand that out, you can see all the files that have made up this particular drawing. All right, so they've come from all over the place. All right, so if I extend this out, there's a survey in here. There's the existing. All right, so some of them make sense, some of them might not make sense. All right, so under the NWF, there's another file here. All right, so basically, that's the selection tree. We'll use that a fair bit. And all right, so the other thing we have was some measuring tools here, so we'll use them a bit later. Okay, so this, how do you navigate around? You basically, well, you haven't got that shift key. Oh, you have it in here. It does work on here. All right, so you can shift key, middle mouse button, you can move around, but you can click on something and you can usually swivel around that as well, a bit like Revit does. All right, so if you ever sort of lost, you can click this home thing and it should come back to how it was. All right, now over here we should have some save viewpoints. Sometimes files like this will have pre-saved viewpoints. You can view them, you can look at them as bookmarks in a book. So it's a view that someone's taken a snapshot so that you can get to it very quickly. And quite often they're accompanied by markups as well, those views, and you can then mark it up in here and send off that markup for someone to correct something. All right, and of course there's this one here, this happens to be some sort of a video thing happening, or walkthrough as well. All right, so they can be saved under this save viewpoints. All right, so new terminologies. They're not viewports, but viewpoints. All right, so apparently they used to be called viewports initially, but many years ago. All right, so that's the interface of that. Let me just close it up. Somehow I got into the steering wheel. That's a steering wheel. All right, let me go back home. So if you can get your view into having the standard standard workspace, that'll be good. Then we've got everything we need here. We've got the timeliner down here, so that if we've got a project that's got that in there, that'll come across. And the timeliner can come across from Microsoft Project as well as that's in the full manage software. Here it just comes across if it happens to be in the NWD, but in the full managed software you can create this, and you can create it from scratch as well, but cumbersome. All right, so that's the story there. All right, I'll leave this. I'll just pause this for a second. Or I'll just show you something on page 16 of this book here. And we'll just flick through this in case we see something else, but generally we just fly through this. You can do sectioning and all that sort of stuff through here, and we'll show you that a bit later on. All right, so let's see. Going down. This basically talks about how more efficient we have become and less pay-by and all that sort of stuff. We're getting there. This probably is slowly the answer to all that. Finally, after 20 or 30 years of paperless society that we're meant to be having with computers, finally it's coming through. All right, so I mean, my lectures don't use any, so I'm proud of that. Don't use any paper. I don't get anybody to print anything from CAD to BIM anyway. So, all right, this is something that new terminology that you need to get used to. And I might have mentioned this before, LOD, level of detail, right? And this is a good little reference area where essentially LOD 100 is very basic conceptual design, and this gives you a bit of an idea. It's sort of blocks of buildings. And then moving on to design development over here, and then 300 is basically the traditional construction documents that are at that level. The traditional 2D construction documents. And then 400, it may be something like the fabricator or the shop drawing people might come along and do shop drawings. So it's even more detailed, so it's 400. In our little project in Revit structures that we're going to do next, we'll go up to level 350, 350. All right, so somewhere in between the two. So I'll show you what that looks like as well. So you have sort of those grey areas in between as well. 500 is the final level. Basically, is the as-built drawing, or as-built documents for a job. So I thought that was important to show you and to know where it is, so you can refer to in case you forget what it actually means. All right, this here on page 20. All right, so and of course it all makes very good reading, but we really haven't got the time to go through it. But it does make pretty good reading to have a look through, and I suggest you do find some time to read a bit about this. Or the stuff that we're skimming through. All right, so on page 20, where were we? Did we go past 20? 19, here we go. This is an interesting graph here that basically what we've got. Cost of design changes here. Ability to impact cost and functional capabilities. So early on we have a huge ability to impact on the changes before it's built. Obviously, that makes sense. What have we got? Traditional design process. Here we spend little time designing the thing, and then we sort of initially there's not much done, but then at the construction documentation level, we do a lot of work. We put a lot of effort in our drawings. Sorry.
Looks like you go backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, so this preferred design process will be the blue one here, where we, quite early on, we're putting as much information as possible into a model. So what it looks like is that, what have you guys been doing for the past 2 or 3 weeks? In fact, we've been sitting there inputting all this information or setting things up so that everyone can communicate properly and doing your templates right and all that sort of stuff at the beginning of the project. Although you've got nothing to show for it, or not much, the whole thing comes together very quickly at this point, because once you put all the information here in the design development, sketch design, all that sort of stuff, you got it right, these construction documents are just basically printed out. They're there. That's it. You're there, and you've presumably here at this level you have discussed all the issues. You've done all your clash detections, or a lot of them. So you avoid all those changes later on, where they cost money. Once you start building around here, then you're in trouble. You don't have much ability to do many changes. All right, so that's that one there. Interesting. Page 22. Let's go to there. What does it say? All the different software that classed as BIM, I suppose, here. So it's interesting to know there's Tekla structures I've been talking about there. Trimble has some ownership of Tekla structures now. Okay. Google SketchUp is apparently BIM. Okay. There's a few other ones there. All right. So then we're moving into the actual model. The model part where we're going to actually be starting to look at how to use the software. And this is part 2 or section 2. All right. So at this point, I will stop this video and I'll let you read through this if you're doing this on your own. But in class, I will sort of guide you a little bit more with this process as well. All right.